To me, architecture is a it's buildings, but it's buildings that relate to people. It has to be functional so that it solves our problem of why we need space. But I think architecture can be more than just functional. It can be something that is truly beautiful and something that affects our society and affects each and every one of us in a more meaningful way. And I think architecture is buildings that is more than just bricks and mortar or sticks and stones. It's buildings that are meaningful to us in other ways. I think the most interesting challenges start with the program and working from the outside to the inside and the inside back to the outside. And making sure that the building is a building that is absolutely efficient in the way that it works for the original purpose it was intended. That's first. I think a building should relate to its context and to the place that it's in. And I think a building should relate to the culture and to the people that it serves. I think buildings should celebrate the entrance and make them exciting so we know where the entry to a building is. Whenever we're sitting down to first design a building, what we try to do is discover the natural order. So there's something natural about the order of each and every building. This is the way it should be put together and the way it should be organized and the way that people interact with it and the way they flow through the building and the way they use the building. These things that I'm talking about are part of my design philosophy for designing a building. And I recently put a book out called The Touchstones of Design, which I outlined 8 touchstones of design that I've used to guide us in our studio as to how we design buildings. A couple more of those are to listen very closely to our clients and see what we can learn from them. Because by listening closely to them, we have discovered a lot about what a building or a project should be. And sometimes listening closely means not to the people you have a contract with, but to those people who are going to be using the building. Well, I don't know. I don't think our ideas are so crazy. I think that they're really clever. And fun and clever. And I think that, you know, each of those ideas has been very economical as well as very practical. But they're unique and they're different ways of looking at things. Another example of looking at things totally different would be the Denver airport, which you see here. You see it has a fabric roof. This was the first fabric roofed airport that enclosed heated and air-conditioned space. And you can see in Denver we have snow, and it's a very cold environment. So this was totally a unique idea. And we did this by literally turning the airport upside down. We took the mechanical equipment off the roof and put it in the basement, which meant we didn't need a big heavy steel structure to hold up the roof. We took everything off the roof. We took everything out of the ceiling. So there's no lights in the ceiling inside the building. There's no need for fire sprinklers inside the building on the roof. And so it made an opportunity for us to put this very inexpensive material over the roof of the building. It only weighs 2 pounds per square foot. So it's a very light material. And we spanned across the space using just fabric and cable and created a very light, airy building that let the light come in through the roof. Might seem like a crazy idea, but it's actually rather brilliant and very cost effective and very sustainable. So we have many, many projects where we've created very unique ideas that were different than people normally think of in terms of architecture. Well, I think architecture to me is a passion, and I think architecture, sustainable architecture, is something that I've always tried to do throughout my career, even before the idea of sustainability became a word, which became big in our vocabulary, which was only about 8 years ago that sustainability really entered into our vocabulary. This building we did almost 20 years ago. So it's something that we've always been very conscious of. And you know, I'd like to think that a lot of the work that we've created will be inspiring for future generations that we leave behind as we you know, work our way through being a practitioner and retired. But I'd like to point out that architecture is an older person's game, and I'm just getting started.